Welcome, everybody, to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show featuring Dr. Carolyn Dean. Join Dr. Dean for the next 2 hours, along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders, also known as Ginny Almighty. Join Dr. Dean as she shares with us her vast range of experience, knowledge, talent, and wisdom. Phone lines are now open, and we'll be taking your calls from around the world and here in the USA.
Welcome everyone to Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting humankind with universal love, and the Dr. Carolyn Dean live show. I'm Ginny Almighty, also known as Ginny Sanders, and I will be here with you for the next 2 hours, and with the very gracious, vivacious, and wonderfully delicious Dr. Carolyn Dean, the doctor of the future, the author of the Magnesium Miracle. Carolyn Dean, a medical doctor and a naturopath, a herbalist, an acupuncturist, so many modalities over the course of her time, so many understandings of the not only biological challenges of the body being met in this environment at this time, but also understanding the emotional composition of the body, the emotional composition often overlooked, not by Dr. Dean. She's here to talk to you for the next 2 hours about what concerns you. And what concerns you is your health, your vitality, your well-being, the fount of which all life flows, because that life force, that ability to live and breathe and have our being, is the basis for not only our well-being and our health, but it's also our success, our relationships, our ability to earn an income, to travel, to enjoy life, to digest our food. These are the basic abilities of the body that many people don't have anymore because of our corrupt soils and our bad food and pharmacology taking over our lives. But Dr. Dean has the most practical way to get you back in the driver's seat of your health and to teach you how the very basic building blocks that nature provides are incredible assets for you to actually be able to use and to incorporate into your lifestyle, into your daily practice, so that you can enjoy the very things that we've been speaking about. Now, let me also just say to you, somebody who's worked for many years for Dr. Dean, she does not give medical advice on her radio show. That's not the nature of this show. This is a public health information show. She likes to share the vast resource of her wisdom, and she likes to talk about the things that you can do, but she won't give you medical advice. She may tell you what she would do if it were her in your position. And she's done many things, ladies and gentlemen, because she's out there on the leading edge of creation, figuring things out and figuring out how to optimize everything that nature has to offer, everything that our environment has to offer in order to assure our well-being. So we're going to put her on the line in just a minute. Let me say to our callers here on the line this evening, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Monday, November 2nd, 2020. It's an interesting time on the planet, and a lot of people are still sorting a lot of things out. But one thing we all have to sort out together is how to take care of each other and how to relieve some of this stress. And that's our topic tonight, stress release, not only the physical, biological stress, but also the emotional stress that comes from stressful times. If you're wanting to talk to Dr. Dean about that, 646-558-8656 is the number. Again, that's 646-558-8656. You'll see it on your screen. You'll see it on our YouTube. You've seen it in our emails. It's probably on your phone right now. And then you do have to hit that ID number, 8836953587. And when you come into the call, we'll take phone calls here in a little bit. We'll let you know how to take your phone off of mute so you can talk with Dr. Dean. Until then, Dr. Dean will be on the show here to talk with you and also to answer your questions through our chat line. Again, our chat here on Dream Vision 7 Radio and also our chat on YouTube. So we've got lots of opportunities for you to chat, connect, interact, talk with Dr. Dean about the things that are important to you. and she will in turn respond with the information that she has. Okay, so let's not delay any further. Welcome, welcome again, our very own, most precious, most beautiful, generous Dr. Carolyn Dean.
Yay. Yay. There are my little children gathered around, drinking their vitamin C reset powder and their Remag. So Ginny, let me start there. What's the feedback on our berry powder, our vitamin C reset powder? Because we knew right from the beginning it's going to be awesome to put your minerals in your water, and you can do sea salted water and then put in your berry powder. So are people giving us feedback that they're finally able to stand their Remag liquid?
Yes, everybody loves it. They are using it in their Remag liquid, and it's giving them that additional energy boost, which is fantastic. Everybody loves it because they can cut it in half. Some people aren't using the full. It comes with a little 7-gram scooper in it. Some people aren't even using the full one. They're using a half, so they're adjusting the flavor and the amount of vitamin C that they're getting by changing that, which is very versatile and wonderful. They absolutely love it because it's light and vibrant and fizzy and fun, and that's fun for people, so they love that. And it is an incredible mask for the minerals. It's just it just neutralizes all of it.
Right. When I add up my daily minerals, it's like 6-7 teaspoons of all the various Pico minerals, and it still just tastes like soda water, berry soda water, because of the fizziness of the potassium. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. We'll have to do a whole huge campaign on the berries and Remag, and be sure to tell all your friends and family who turned up their nose at Remag that now they can mask the taste. That's a much better thing to mask the taste.
That's right. That's right. And Doug Tidwell, Carolyn, on our customer service team, has chimed in on the chat line here on YouTube, and he's saying that he is saying hello, of course, but he's also saying that the powder is so delicious. It does help the taste the mask of the minerals, and he's having great feedback in customer service. So that's exciting.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Doug. That's wonderful. Okay, so just while Ginny, she's always busy on the chat board and multitasking everything, so I'll go through just a bit of the housekeeping. We didn't do it last week because we had some awesome guests on talking about thyroid and adrenal health and our Remite and the importance of that. So this week, just to remind people that we do have a subscription service. You can put your monthly order on auto ship, and we want you to keep referring your practitioners every time customer service talks to a customer and they give us an indication that their practitioner is at least supportive. Then we offer to send the practitioner a practitioner kit with some samples of our products so that they can know what we're doing and know that we're doing the research to prove the worth of our absorption of Remag. That's what we're starting with, Remag absorption studies. Our referral candy, 15% discount if you refer a friend that orders. And we want you to get your blood testing done. How are we doing with kits, Ginny? How many kits do we have left?
We have a few left that are still available to the radio audience. Anybody listening this evening can email customer service at support, SUPPORT, at rnareset.com and send an email in, and they will send you a kit valued at $214, which is an extraordinary value for you to be able to do your blood testing.
Right, and the blood tests are for a whole and RBC magnesium blood test, a vitamin D, an omega-3 fatty acid test, and a TSH test for your thyroid. And just simply in the past few months since we've been doing the testing since last fall, we've adjusted our whole I guess you could say our protocol. The protocol we had to expand for the immune system because of COVID. We finally got the attention of the world with COVID to show people that it was a population with comorbidities, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, all the diseases that we talk about. They do not mention that it's people on medications, but that, I guess it goes without saying, but they don't come out against the drugs, but the drugs are going to lower the level of nutrients in your body. That's for certain. So realizing that 70% of people have comorbidities, 70% are overweight or obese, and 70% are on at least one medication. So over 2/3 of the population is at risk. And we wish the powers that be would be talking more about people getting their vitamin D testing and taking higher doses of vitamin D, taking magnesium, taking vitamin C, and taking the omega-3 fatty acids. We found out in our population, who we think are pretty healthy, and myself, I was low in vitamin D, very low. I'm low in omega-3 fatty acids, so that's the next product that we have coming out, and it's going to be particularly awesome because it's a algae-based omega-3. We don't squeeze it out of little krill that happen to be the main food for the whales that come down here to Maui. So there was no way I was ever going to do a fish-based omega-3, but there is a algae-based omega-3 with the DHA and EPA, and it doesn't make me burp. Everything makes me burp, but this doesn't make me burp. And we added vitamins A and vitamin E to the formula, because the best way to absorb your omega-3s or your A and E is in sort of a fatty base. So we have it covered with this capsule of essential fatty acids, A and E. And what we have now with our handful of complement formulas is we have every nutrient covered. It's really quite awesome. And even though people might say about our Remite, for example, that the amounts are low, what we have is high absorption. So you only need low dose. I think practitioners get into high dose because if you don't get an absorption, then you just give more and more, and you don't get absorption of nutrients if they're dirt-based minerals or synthetic vitamins. So we stayed with food-based, natural, high absorption, and they're being in a synergistic soup with everything working together. You don't have to go mega. So yeah, that's a little sidebar on what's coming up, our omega-3 fatty acids. I have written about all the formulas in the free ebooks. They're at drcarolyndeanlive.com. I'll have to update them all now and get in words about our vitamin C reset. I think I put in about vitamin D already, our D3K2 reset. And I'll put in about the omega-3 fatty acids, A and E. So that's our books. We continue on with our magnesium deficiency survey. Our research scientist, Taylor Wallace, he's going to write a paper about our survey results, because we've gotten over 100,000 responses showing, the high rate of insomnia, 70%, anxiety, 70%, muscle cramps, restless legs, heart palpitations, tension headaches from 40 to 60%. But the focus today, as Ginny said, it's on stress. And big factors in stress are insomnia and anxiety. And where we are today is the day before the U.S. election, which I'm told from our people in Serbia, the whole world is watching this election. It could change everything. So the election stress is high. The COVID stress is extremely high. When people start talking about further shutdowns and everybody has to wear a mask, I mean, it's for the first time this week, passing people on my hotel walk, people are yelling at me to put my mask on. And what it means is when you pass another human being these days, the first thing in most people's minds, not mine, but the first thing is, oh, I wonder if they're infected. Oh, are they going to breathe on me? Oh, what's going to happen if I go outside my house, and what's going to happen if I don't put on a mask? I mean, the fear is palpable. And you couldn't arrange a better way to control the population, but by putting them in such a fear mode. And it's not good. I mean, we do have a president who's very optimistic and positive. He's gone through the COVID, and he's just bouncing around like a Energizer bunny. And we know he takes nutrients, and we know everybody should be taking nutrients. Fauci himself, he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth, because on one hand, he's saying we have to shut down and wear masks for the next year. On the other hand, he himself apparently is taking 6,000 units of vitamin D and high doses of vitamin C. Now, why isn't he telling you that? That would be helpful if they would come out and give us instructions about how to prevent illness, rather than being fearful that just by breathing, we are under attack. And I mean, this is a bit fear-mongering, but you do have to know that when you're breathing all day through cotton mask, you're breathing in cotton fibers. We just think of the lint that your dryer, your clothes dryer builds up. You're breathing cotton fibers, and now we're starting to see X-ray evidence of cotton fibers in the lungs. So for everything that we do, there is a reaction, and we have to be aware of that. So I'd like people not to have to use masks unless they're in a crowd and they can't social distance. If you're, as I am, walking outside in the environment, I don't think I should have to wear masks. So let's get on to the blog. Ginny, do you have anything to say after that little rant before I get to your weekly blog?
I'm shocked that people are asking you to wear a mask outside when you're clearly exercising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you're dressed in your exercise gear and you're rolling out, because I see your pictures. You send me beautiful nature, and I know you're just out on your nature walk. So, I mean, to me, but this is, as you say, the palpable nature of fear, and it's an irrational request. And so we know that it's fear-based and it's not an intellectual request, because intellectually, it's just not even possible or probable that that's a factor. And
yeah, no, you continue.
And I was just going to say, and I think it's really important that we have to start emphasizing that this virus has a 98.2 recovery percentage. And the thing that lowers the percentage from 99.9 is the elderly population that has the comorbidities that becomes infected. And we We really do want to just encourage people to focus on the recovery and the natural rate of recovery and the body's ability to recover, and not focus on the other, because that's crazy making right there. Wouldn't you say so?
Absolutely. And that's what I was going to say, that today on the walk, there were two couples, two women, both women. So 4 women, 2 and 2, that said, put your mask on. And like real anger coming out of their eyes, because that's all you can see. They had huge masks on. And I'm thinking, it reminds me of the phrase that I say quite a bit, that being angry at somebody else is like you taking poison and expecting the other person to die. I mean, I just feel sorry for these people who have this ball of anger in their heart that they're thrusting at strangers, and they don't realize that they're harming themselves. And that's what we do with anger. That's what's happening with fear and stress. And this is what Ginny sent out to all the email subscribers that we have put out on social media, saying goodbye to election stress, and then I would add, and COVID-19 stress. So what happens when you're under stress is that our bodies automatically jump into a fight or flight response. Now, you may not be aware of it. Maybe in the beginning of COVID, people were obviously more anxious. Maybe you felt your heart rate was elevated and you were a bit panicky and short of breath. But over time, that sort of dampens down, but it's still there. It's like it's buried a bit, but it's still happening. This fight or flight where you are on edge. And what happens is that the nervous system and the stress hormones are all geared up. They're all building. As Jenny has in her blog, the hypothalamus in the brain tells the adrenal glands to produce more hormones. That would be adrenaline and cortisol. And the cortisol, that starts elevating chronically. The long-term stress produces cortisol, and that's what's actually, it can cause weight gain. Ginny jokes about the COVID 10 or the COVID 15 pounds that people are getting, and it can be from sitting around not exercising enough and eating, but it also can be from stress. And we have here in the blog experiments where adrenaline is given intravenously, shows that magnesium, calcium, potassium, and sodium are decreased in the blood. When there's a lot of adrenaline on board, those minerals are pushed out of the body. Or it's more like they're utilized, they're used up to make the adrenaline and to deal with the results of adrenaline. So this proves that when you're all revved up and burning adrenaline, you're also burning off your minerals. And these are minerals that we do replace, the Rmag, the Pico Potassium. We tell people to put sea salt in their water. We have Recalcia for people who aren't getting enough, which is 600 milligrams of calcium a day. And continuing on in the blog, there are more than a dozen major metabolic processes that are affected by bursts of adrenaline, including shifting your heart rate, your blood pressure, blood vessel constriction, contraction of all your muscles, including the heart. Thus, we feel palpitations, shortness of breath, and may experience high blood pressure, all of which, again, are using up your minerals, especially magnesium. And like I said, we may not even realize that the symptoms we're having are stress related. I guess everybody knows we're under stress, but doctors will wait until you develop a symptom like atrial fibrillation or high blood pressure, and then they'll just give you a medication for it instead of telling you to beef up your Rmag, for Pete's sakes. And then this business of anxiety being created when fear is present. I mean, they do go hand in hand. And as I was saying, I mean, 2020 has us all wound up in fear about COVID and with all the political unrest. So we're just constantly depleting our adrenals and our magnesium, potassium, sodium, and calcium. And we'd like to be able to say goodbye to these stresses, or at least, Ginny says here, natural correction and coping. I mean, I'd like to do more than coping. I think we can overcome these stresses. I think we can rise above them. We can, put them to the side. We can actually, Ginny, wasn't who was it last week? She's a farmer. She said she and her husband were on all the formulas, and they get a big, stress, and they just kind of laugh it off. I don't know if you recall her name. I could look it up, but it was awesome the way she talked about their worries had really diminished because they were doing the formulas. And it's partly because the formulas like the Remag will calm your heart, will calm your adrenals. But when you're feeling good, when you're feeling healthy, and when you're sleeping, that's huge. When you're sleeping, you are able to, address problems kind of more rationally, I guess you'd say. So millions of people are trying unsuccessfully to deal with stress and anxiety by taking pharmaceutical drugs or through behaviors like overeating, eating, smoking, alcohol abuse, or using street drugs. And we're a nation suffering a 32% incidence of stress-related anxiety, depression, and drug problems. And over again, we're hearing that that's even worse under the COVID lockdown. So we've got, I've said many times already, we've got the magnesium supplementation that is a safe, effective solution to this fight or flight response to stress and anxiety. Now, in the article, Ginny also pulled up some information about EFT, emotional freedom technique, and that's something that people can use on themselves. I also called it tapping technique. Now, it's written quite nicely here. You can also Google my name and emotional freedom technique and learn more about it. I have put it in my modules. You can Google EFT and learn the sequence, and that can give you something to do. To me, it's like a meditation where you are saying positive affirmations and tapping on acupressure points, mostly on your hands and wrists. So it's really easy access to these acupressure points and also face points as well. So you can look at emotional freedom technique as a modality to work with. And then the next section, Ginny has in how the lack of sleep impairs emotional control. And she has some good words here about getting an adequate amount of sleep is increasingly recognized as vital for mental and physical health. Sleep deprivation increases stress hormones associated with anxiety and depression and heightens the risk of developing chronic conditions like cardiovascular disease. And we all know by now that magnesium, especially Remag, is the best treatment for insomnia. I mean, there's a saying in the magnesium crowd is if you took Remag to help you sleep and it's not quite the way you want, you have to take more Remag or spread it out through the day. Or if you spread it out through the day, take more at night. And there's one study here that Ginny cites that participants in a sleep deprivation group reported that they were unable to suppress intrusive thoughts about 50% more often than the control group. So when you're sleepless and tired, you start getting all the negative thoughts, or, gramophone thoughts, I call them, trying to sort things out in your mind, and they just become worries. And I think that's most of the blog. I picked up some words from the Magnesium Miracle, and in the chapter 3, I think it was, I wrote, how do we graduate from being a calm person in control of our nervous system to an anxious, fearful individual? I think it's due to a gradual but chronic decrease in magnesium reserves. When the body is stressed, and it can be for a dozen different reasons, our magnesium reserves are supposed to dump this crucial mineral into our bloodstream, and we immediately become one of those people blessed with the ability to cope. We're both calm and alert. But if the stress continues and we don't rest or replace our magnesium between episodes, our magnesium stores are depleted. And that's where we're at now. We have depletion of our minerals as a population, and we're suffering. And further on in that chapter, I have several testimonials. One person is saying, I've been using Remag for about 2 weeks for my anxiety attacks, and they already feel so much better. I'm up to 1 teaspoon twice a day. Another says, I've been sleeping very well, experiencing very little or no anxiety, hardly any or no heart palpitations. This is after having suffered AFib and anxiety for almost 10 years. Now that's awesome. Another says, I am doing all your formulas now, as well as soil-based probiotic, and feel fantastic. My night sweats have ceased, and I've had no more issues with my Crohn's disease. Everything is moving along great. I have no more anxiety issues, and I have increased energy. What more could I ask for? And another's saying she was so bad, her doctor gave her IV minerals and told her to drink Gatorade, but she took sea salt water instead, and then Remag. And she said she's been having magnesium deficiency, muscle tension, and anxiety that started in early menopause 19 years before, for which she was prescribed Xanax. And she said, I'm already able to taper off that. So she's been on Xanax for 19 years and still suffering symptoms. So that's what can be done for fear, anxiety, and worries, is taking your nutrients. I'm focusing on Remag Magnesium. That's the start. Potassium works along with magnesium, and as I've said, it's important for the adrenal glands. Sea salt, the sodium is important for the adrenals as well. And then, of course, we do have our B vitamins. The Realign with food-based and methylated Bs is extremely important for the nervous system, for the adrenals, for digestion, for the heart, for just about everything. So I'll ask Ginny what she can add while I take some of my sea salted water.
I want to tell a fun story, Carolyn, because I know that we're all about the experience and not recommending anything that we would not do ourselves. I take all the products. Of course, you're our fearless leader. You do everything way before everybody else does. But I thought to myself, I'm just going to try this EFT thing and see how it goes, because I've really never done that before. I mean, I had to find a little video to figure out how to do it. Mm-hmm. And so the statement I just kept saying was, all this stress is making me crazy, but I love and accept myself anyway. And I just did the tapping thing. And I swear, I just feel so good. I don't know what's going on. I could just be happy, and I'm mostly happy anyway. But yeah, it was just fun. And it is kind of like a super little easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's a placebo effect, and it's just me deciding that I'm not going to let anything stress me out. But it's something fun and easy to do, and it doesn't take any money, and all those other kind of objections that people have.
Well, that's wonderful. Right. So it's an affirmation, and perhaps when you're tapping an acupressure point at the same time as saying that, it just sort of uh, seats it, seats it in your meridians, in your consciousness, in your body. In hypnosis, they talk about when you sort of hold yourself, when you make an affirmation or you say something, you ground yourself in that physical contact. Or again, in hypnosis, they tell you to, hold onto a rock when you want to remember something positive. So affirmations they work. I mean, Louise Hay helped so many people with her affirmations, so they can't be overlooked. So EFT is affirmations kind of on steroids by using your acupressure points as well.
Right on. Yeah. So that's fun. It's just another fun thing to do. And yeah, I was kind of impressed. I thought, okay, well, this is cool.
Okay, great. Okay, so as Ginny said, we didn't have any mailbag questions about stress and fear, so we'll go to the phones and take any questions. Of course, I do have a lot of built up testimonials in the mailbag, so we have plenty to work with. But if Ginny, you can go ahead and release the hordes.
Okay, very good. And let me just remind everybody, and we've got callers waiting, and I see your hands, and when I call on you, I'll call you by your area code, and then I'll have to send you a little message that tells you to unblock your phone. And then when you do that, then I'll be able to put you on the line. Again, the number 646-558-8656 with the ID number that's featured on your computer screen, your email, any correspondence that you receive from us, our website, the ID number 8836953587. And we're still working to get that changed, but it's a slow process, but we're still working on it. Now, let me say this, Carolyn, on the our YouTube line, I'll tell you really quick before we get into our phone calls. We've had a very robust conversation with our very, very wonderful friend, Patrick, who we love, and adore. And this is what he said. He said, the berry powder is amazing, and I add it to my yogurt.
Oh, wow, of course.
He says, I like it in my Remag water, but it's great with the berry powder to add to yogurt. And he said that it makes it taste like berry dessert. He says it satisfies his sugar cravings completely. He doesn't crave any candies or sweets. So that reminded me of your berries and cream, Carolyn.
Oh, right. Oh, that's wonderful. I'll have to put it in. Well, no, I've got so much in my berry dessert. And when I come for the Christmas party over to North Carolina, I can't have my berries when I'm there because they're just too cold, right? I can't have a cold dessert in winter. So it'll be great. I'll do berries and yogurt.
Yeah,
I mean berry powder. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Berry powder and yogurt. Thanks, Patrick. That's wonderful.
Isn't that neat? Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And let's see. Also, Nancy says that she loves the EFT. She says you are tapping into meridians. And she says it would work better if you have good magnesium in the body. But she said since she's used Remag and tapping, it's been a lot more effective than before she ever took the Remag. So I thought that was a neat contribution. Thank you, Nancy M. Wow. Okay, let's go to the telephonos. And I know we're just going to have so much fun and great calls tonight. Okay, so we're going to go to area code 719 first, 719. And I'm asking you to unmute 719. You're on the getting the little blue dot from me.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Pamela.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Pamela.
I have a few questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is Rna Reset Drops. I got them when you recommended them for me, and I've been taking them. But I don't understand what they are and what the benefits are of them. I wondered if you could talk about that.
It is hard to describe, and that's why at a certain point a couple of years ago, I used the Rna Reset Drops, what we make them from the barley sprouts. Like when we squeeze out barley sprouts that have germinated over several days, that becomes the Rna Reset Drops. But what's left over has still got a lot of, it's coated with the drops. And these barley sprouts, we put them in the soil, and we did an experiment with radishes. And in one big farm plot, we put in this barley, what we call mighty mash. We dug it into the soil, planted the radish seeds. Another big farm plot, we just planted the radish seeds. And after 26 days of growing the radishes, on the mighty mash plot, we got these huge, bright red, delicious radishes, 85 pounds worth. And on the other plot, we only got 3 pounds that looked good enough to sell at the farm stand. So what that showed to me is that there's a kind of a life force, a probiotic, prebiotic life force in the Rna Reset Drops that built up the soil, built up the plants, made them so healthy that they just rejected any predators, rejected the worms that came and ate up the radishes in the other plot. It didn't even allow weeds to grow. So in the humans, we see the RNA drops as creating a life force of, natural probiotics that keeps the body healthy and rejects any sort of infection or any sort of pathogen or predator. Does that make sense?
Yeah, now I'm getting it. I've kind of heard that story before, but I didn't get the gist of what it was doing for people.
Right.
Right, I understand. So tell me, the directions say, to increase it over time.
Yes.
I don't know how fast to do that and how far you go.
Well, yeah, it's probably in small print on the label, Pamela, but you just increase by 1 drop per week, and you hold it under your tongue. You're 15 minutes away from food or drink, and you increase. Yes, you do it all by itself under your tongue, and then you just increase to 10 drops twice a day. I mean, some people will do 15 drops twice a day, but 10 drops is good. At this point, I just pour mine into a spoon and take a spoon in the morning, and that's how I do it. But we know they're powerful. They can really support a person in their whatever their body is trying to do to help them. Like it can stir things up a little bit. And to avoid any of that, that's why we say increase by 1 drop a week, because they're that powerful.
Okay, so then that could be very helpful in protection of COVID, right?
Oh yes, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
My next question is, you had recommended that I take psyllium for my digestive issues, and I've been doing that, and they improve just really quickly. But is this something that I should continue to do forever and ever, or do I stop at some point, or what?
It's a good question, and I'm glad you asked it, because I have to be more clear about the psyllium and fiber in general, because what happens in the digestive tract is there's all the good bacteria. You're hearing about the trillions of bacteria in the gut, And one of the things these bacteria feed on is fiber. And what's happened in our population is we've been moving away from fiber. You know how people now, they're saying, oh, don't eat any grains, and oh, you're eating too many vegetables. Well, there goes our two big fiber sources. So all of a sudden, our bowels get upset because there's not enough bulk. There's not enough fiber bulk. So personally, what I do is I'll take a big teaspoon of fine psyllium powder and a tablespoon of bentonite, and I put in a little quarter dose of the berry powder, the vitamin C reset berry powder for taste, and put about 4 or 5 ounces of water, and I drink that every morning for fiber, because with the way it seems, Pamela, the my formulas that I'm taking, I don't seem to have a big enough appetite to eat more than, say, 1.5 meals a day. So I know I'm not getting enough fiber. So I take that psyllium every day.
So it may vary depending on how you're eating and so forth.
Exactly. If you're having a big salad, there's your fiber. If you're having an apple and a grain, some oatmeal, there's your fiber. So, and in our restructure, we do have a dose of fiber, a serving of fiber in our restructure. Right. So, but I really haven't emphasized that enough. I'm going to have to go back to my books, to the what I've written about Flora Revive, our probiotic, and I'll have to go back and really reinforce this fiber business. The yeast book, for example, I do talk about using bentonite and psyllium as a detox, but I don't emphasize the fact that you absolutely need that fiber for your probiotics.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so
I'm really enjoying the restructure in my smoothie. I love it.
Oh, that's wonderful. The restructure. I even I got a dessert, a paleo, brownie mixture. What is it? Brownie cake mix or something. And I put a couple of scoops of restructure in that. I'm going to put in, what else did I think I'd put in? You can make a high protein, low sugar dessert with the restructure so easily. Yes, and I thought I put some berry powder in there as well. Actually, Ginny, we have one of our customers that's big on the restructure recipes. Has she gotten to us yet about putting the berry powder in any of her recipes?
That's Sandy. I'll ask her. I'll email her. Yeah, and ask her.
Yeah. So yes, Pamela, you can do all these things.
Oh, I'd love to have their recipes.
Do we have an area where the recipe's hiding now, Ginny?
On Dr. Carolyn Dean Live.
Oh. And where are they specifically?
I think we can just type in recipes. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? They're on our FAQ. Now, they're on our FAQ on RNA Reset. That's where Melody Rose puts them.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you go to rnareset.com, just go to the help section at the top, and then just in the search bar, type recipes, and you'll see them all there. Potassium broth, our coconut restructure key, Dr. Dean's Frozanas, Ginny's keto paste, keto crust pizza mix, and Scott Steele's restructure pancakes, and Patrick's restructure banana bread, Dr. Dean's macadamia nut pate. Man, we got some recipes here.
Great.
So that's under help. You click on help, And then you just
Uh-huh.
go to the box that says where can I find the recipe? That one?
No, you just go to RNA Reset, then across the top, Carolyn, where it says help, click on help, and it'll bring you up to the search bar for our FAQs.
Oh, the search bar for the FAQs. Okay. But there's a box just below the search bar. Where can I find the recipe? And it does have.
Look under, see the first row, it says Dr. Dean stuff, blah, blah. And then on the next one, do you see where can I find the recipes? You just click that.
Yeah. Awesome. Very
Just
good.
click that.
Another great
Either-
question, Pamela. Do you have any more great questions?
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of problem with the potassium. I asked you about the feeling like I couldn't breathe and so forth, and you said you thought it might have something to do with my potassium balance with the Remag, and that I should go to, what is that called? Oh, chronometer. So I went there and tried to figure it out, and I could not figure out that website. But I just went ahead and did increase my potassium, and I think I'm better. But I would like to figure out how to balance it even better, but I can't figure out that website.
Ginny, has anyone in customer service used the Chronometer app? I'm sorry, I haven't even. I took it from one of our customers who told us that's how she decided she was very low in potassium.
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I don't know.
Right. So
I could call customer service and ask.
Right. Well, we'll get on to that, because if I'm making that recommendation, we have to be able to figure out how to help people if they're having problems. I mean, I was led to believe that it's really easy to use, et cetera, but we'll put someone on to it, Pamela, and we'll report about it next week, okay?
Yeah, that would be great. I'm just not that great with the computer.
Right. No, I understand. Bob's the same way. Okay, anything else?
No. Thank you so much. This is so helpful.
Oh, you're welcome. Wonderful to hear from you, and that you're doing better and better. That's so great.
Yes,
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, take care, Pamela. Bye-bye now.
Okay, bye.
Okay, very good. What a great phone call. Excellent. Thank you for your contribution. Every question you ask helps somebody. It's amazing. Sometimes people are a little shy about getting on the phone, but time immemorial, your question is there, and other people who have similar situations always benefit from the things you're asking. So thank you for participating. Let's go to area code 910-910. I'm asking to unmute your phone with the little blue button, 910. And there you are. Come on in, talk with Dr. Dean. Can we get your name and the nature of your question?
Hey, what's going on? This is Brad Freeman.
Oh, hey, Brad.
Hey, I had got my results back from the grassroots help, and I was severely deficient in the vitamin D. And I was wondering, does that have anything to do with like the palpitations as well and muscle twitching?
It does, I was surprised to read that. When you read about vitamin D deficiency symptoms, they kind of sound like magnesium deficiency symptoms as well. That's why I'm so keen on getting people their results. So are you saying that even with your Remag and potassium, you're still having symptoms?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I didn't know the vitamin D or what, but my magnesium, it was at a 40, so I assumed that was in a good range.
Yeah, that's good. What do you mind telling me what your vitamin D number was?
The vitamin D was at a 4.
Wow.
Yeah, it was real.
Yeah. Well, that's low enough to be noticeable. I mean, mine was 19, but I didn't think I noticed it, and But right away, I went on 10,000 units of the D3K2. Well, it was even before we had our product. So what are you taking now of vitamin D?
Oh, I order your product, the D3 with the K2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
So,
already feeling the difference. So.
right. And I don't know if you get the, I don't know, directions, I guess you call them, about how much to take, because what we do there is send people to grassrootshealth.net. I'm going there myself right now to make sure everything's right there. And what you're looking for is the vitamin D calculator, Brett. It's on the home page, lower left. It's a box that says vitamin D calculator. And you click on that. And then you put your weight in and your serum level of your vitamin D and what your desired serum level is, and then it calculates how much vitamin D you should take. Let's do it right now. How much do you weigh in pounds?
170.
170. How much vitamin D are you taking right now?
10, because I take 2 doses. It's 5,000. So I take 10 a day.
But let's go backtrack before you got the test. Do you know how much you were taking back then? Were you taking any vitamin D?
No, not taking. No, I wasn't. No.
Okay, so we'll go with that. And then we put the 4 in for the nanograms per mil. And I mean, you probably want to be around 50 nanograms per mil. You're at 4 now. You want to be 50, I would say. If you have prostate issues in the family, the grassroots health people say you want to go more to 90, but a good level for a big guy like you would be 50. And then we hit calculate. Okay. Hit calculate. They wanted me to put in something in the current daily supplement, so I just put 1,000. So I put a calculate, and they said to achieve the desired serum level of 50 within 3 months, you want 9,000, or they also say, or 10,000 per day, sufficient for 90% of people to achieve the desired level. So 10,000 is what you're going to take. And when you do your retest in 3 months, it should be up to 50. Cool, eh?
Okay, that sounds like a plan. And one more last question. I want to kind of get your opinion on this one. So, when I first started having the palpitations last year, you start Googling and YouTube and doing research because you're nervous and stressed out, don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So I think the vitamin D probably came from, me switching more to a plant-based side. So I was just going to ask your opinion, like how you feel about the plant-based, because I know we get vitamin D from fish, and like, is fish really bad?
Right.
That you would feel like you.
Well, I've tried plant-based over, on and off over the years, and I could never deal with it. I wouldn't, it wasn't good for me. So it may be good for some people, but you're right, unless most of the vitamin D is going to be in fish or supplements. I mean, where else are you going to get it? But our vitamin D is from algae, so that our vegan and vegetarian customers can take it. But yeah, you can be low on vitamin D for dietary reasons. And also, I mean, a melanated skin will block the sun, and you won't get it from the sun. And then people are afraid of getting burned. They put on all kinds of sunblock and block the sun.
Carolyn, we've got to take the break at the top of the hour, but we'll come back. So hang in there with us, and we'll be right back, everybody. Taking a break. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Jenny.
Okay.
with Hour 2 of the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with host Ginny Sanders, right after this brief station break. You can also get updates and resources online by visiting drcarolyndean.com. That's drcarolyndean.com.
Did you know there are 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency? Magnesium deficiency is a public health crisis growing in scope and proportion. Dr. Carolyn Dean, author of The Magnesium Miracle, has identified over 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency, 100 factors that lead to magnesium deficiency, and 24 reasons why magnesium deficiency occurs. Order The Magnesium Miracle today at Amazon.com and learn how to remedy this pervasive condition.
Do you have questions about your health? Are you wondering about alternatives? Do you ever wish you could have 5 minutes with a doctor you can trust? Someone who is an internationally recognized authority in the field of natural medicine? Meet award-winning doctor, naturopath, and best-selling author of The Magnesium Miracle, Carolyn Dean, MD, ND. Hear a wealth of information designed to empower listeners and callers to discover how to improve health, vitality, and well-being through a variety of safe strategies and nutritional options. Dr. Carolyn Dean Live. Shows can be heard every Monday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern, with weekly live shows, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network.
Natural health, vitality, and well-being. Yes, everyone wants it, but not everyone is sure how to achieve it. Dr. Carolyn Dean's Completement Formulas are more than just dietary supplements. They're whole foods and picometer minerals designed to complete your nutrition, not just supplement it. Experience the difference Dr. Dean's formulas make. Visit RnaReset.com to learn more. That's RnaReset.com.
Omega Institute, offering workshops, retreats, and online learning dedicated to awakening the best in the human spirit. With more than 40 years at the forefront of holistic studies, Omega is known the world over as a trusted source for integrated approaches to personal growth and social change. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org or call 877-944-2002. Again, 877-944-2002.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Return now to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders. Phone lines are open during live broadcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, and also possibly the podcasting network of your choice, whether we're on Stitcher, Google Play, we're on Apple, we're on Amazon Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on all the podcasting networks, and happily so. So thank you for listening. And of course, we're here at Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting humankind with universal love and uniting all of humanity with our very own Dr. Carolyn Dean, the preeminent voice of natural medicine for our time, and rightfully so. Such a difference maker, such a passionate, compelling figure in the field of natural medicine for so many years, and reaping the reward of that, her reward being the deep satisfaction of knowing what an influence and what a powerful position she's having on the world, really on the world. So honored to be with you this evening, returning to our very good guest, area code 910, who called in earlier. You've got to unmute your phone again for us, love. And welcoming back Dr. Dean. Hello, Dr. Dean.
Hello, Dr. Ginny. You could be what kind of doctor?
I'm a spiritual doctor. I'm a pastor.
You're a pastor. Of course you are. Of course, but you could get an award at a medical school for being a doctor. What is it when they give people an award?
Oh, the honorary doctorate.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are honored. So, do we have Brett on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Did you get what I was saying about the calculation? And you're perfectly right to be taking the 10,000. That's what they say would work for you to bring your level up. But if people followed me on the page and went through the calculations, below where they say to take the 10,000 units, they talk about a loading dose. To quickly achieve the desired serum level within days, a dose of 25,000 per day can be taken for 12 days, followed by the maintenance dose. I'm not recommending that, because what happens when you do high dose loading doses, you pull away a lot of your magnesium. And if you're not saturated with your magnesium, then you're going to, suffer relative magnesium deficiency symptoms. So I'm not in favor of loading dose. And in my experience, when I went up to the 10,000, I knew my remag levels or my magnesium levels from my first test. And what was that? In September 2019, my magnesium was 60, but my vitamin D was 19. In June, when I did the retest, my vitamin D was 53. Up from 19, but my magnesium dropped to 48 from 60. So that 10,000 units of vitamin D used up, a portion of my magnesium. Do you follow what I'm saying there? So, so that means when you're taking that vitamin D, you have to be very careful to maybe even take a little more of your Remag, like a half a teaspoon, to deal with that extra vitamin D.
Okay.
Yeah. But we want to hear, back from you in another month or so to see if by improving your vitamin D, you're able to get rid of what still remains of your, muscle symptoms and all. It's like a step by step that you're going through. Okay, I dealt with that one. Oh, there's still something left. Well, let's look at this. You're doing your own experiment, basically, right?
Yeah, you're right. Correct. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, what else you got?
Well, that was pretty much it. I had with the plant-based. I think that's the reason why my vitamin D. Because, like I say, when you go to the doctors and they send you on your way, you stuck researching because you don't know who else to turn to when we go to them for help. Yeah. So I thought the plant-based was going to help, but which it probably did, but, it left me deficient certain things. So
yeah. Yeah, it's good. And it's much better, of course, as you're figuring out to be in charge of your own health and to take that responsibility and, find resources that work and find formulas that work. And I'm glad you found us. That's all I can say.
Yeah, because I was feeling real weak. I had to call out from work, could barely walk.
Oh,
I didn't know what emergency room. They checked my blood, say everything came back normal. Follow up with your primary care.
wow. Yeah. I know they don't know how to look for nutrients. And look at you. You found out on your own you have 4 nanograms of vitamin D. I mean, that's ridiculously low. So again, I'm glad, we were able to help you get to that understanding, and now you're able to treat it. So it's onward and upward. That's all I can say.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all for the help because, man, listen.
Wow.
Man, that's really stressful. Like I say, you go to the doctor and they see you on your way. They just prescribe medicine. Now you stuck, don't know the next step. Don't know if you come with. So I definitely appreciate y'all. Definitely.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we appreciate you too. And thanks for checking in with us. It's, people are following your story. It's wonderful. You're the hero of your own story. That's what we'd say.
Oh. All right. I appreciate the time, and you take care.
You too, buddy. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right.
Yay!
Yay! That was awesome. See, this is what we're talking about. Health freedom, people taking responsibility for their own health. They're not going to just accept what the doctors tell them. They are going to get out there. They are going to figure it out for themselves. Their lives are the one at risk. They are the ones who have to enjoy their own vitality and well-being. And by cracky, when they put out that signal, wah, 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 that they want good information, they're going to connect with Dr. Dean. It's a fact.
Yeah, it is a sad situation where a doctor will actually tell a person that, well, you're tired and weak, you're probably depressed, here's a medication for you. And even when our customers have said to doctors, well, what about this vitamin or that? Oh, none of that, that's not the problem. There have been studies showing that these nutrients don't even work. I mean, that's instead of themselves, these doctors looking at alternatives, they just push people into a bucket. It's really quite criminal, actually.
Yeah.
Criminal.
It is criminal. There's a lot of weird criminal behavior going on, but we're ascending, right, Carolyn? I mean, this is about people taking their power back and people uniting humankind with universal love, bringing them into a new awareness of the authentic power that they really do have, the power to choose, the power to create, the power to decide their own destiny. And people do not have to be limited by other people's bad choices anymore.
Right. And what's this about us being on Stitcher and Spotify and all the podcasting networks? What's going on, Ginny? What have you done?
I've made sure everybody in the whole wide world can hear you, Carolyn. Well, Amazon's got a huge podcasting platform now. And, it used to be Apple Podcasts back in the day. But people love podcasts. They like to get on. They can subscribe. It can go into their computer or their phone automatically. They don't have the limitation of having to be tied to the computer. They can listen while they're driving or walking or just hanging out in the house. And that way they get their weekly dose of good information. So our podcast is very popular. A lot of times when people think of podcasts, they think about a scripted kind of situation. But I think, our show in particular is one of a kind of a breed of show. Joe Rogan's is another one that comes to mind where we do have a live radio broadcast, but it's available as a podcast as well. So Yep.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I do a couple of podcasts, and I've never thought of. I'm in the same realm as some of these people that I listen to. It's very cool.
Yep.
Thank you, podcast listeners, for listening to our show.
Right. And the other great thing about our show, as far as podcast listeners, is that it's interactive, even beyond the airing of the show or the recording of the presentation. So we always put out that word that if you hear anything on the show that you have a question about, you always email questions, questions, at drcarolyndeanlive.com. And you're going to hear Melody Rose will take your information, and then she'll help you decipher whatever it is you heard. If you need to talk to Dr. Dean, she'll hook you up. So we have a really good hands-on approach to allowing the audience, the podcasting audience, to have access to you just as if they were listening to the show live. So that's very beneficial too.
No, yes. Yeah, wonderful. We have outreach, and we have Instagram too. Chad and Kate have me doing Instagram videos, which is very fun. I mean, I've done a fair bit of TV and videos and whatnot, but there's just something so empowering about doing my own, set and setting up my own iPhone in front of my face and just talking. It is so fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yep. It's you do a great job on the Instagram. We have Facebook. Melody Rose also works a lot with our Facebook. We're available through so many different channels. We have a great support team on our Amazon account. So, I mean, so much great stuff happening. So there's no reason you can't talk to us, get what you need, know what's going on, have instant Oh, Carolyn, you probably do not even know that we launched, we do so many things. We're so busy. Dr. Dean's like just, having her manicure and her pedicure and her hair done, all these people fluttering around, taking care of her and buffing and fluffing her. And she doesn't even know half of the stuff we're doing. We got the Dr. Carolyn Dean Live radio show, the new blog up, the new website.
Oh, so I just go to drcarolyndeanlive.com, open her up, and oh, pretty purple. Oh, it's beautiful.
Do you like that's Derek? Derek did a great job of getting this transitioned. So we've got our podcasts, we've got all the articles, the webinars, and all your books on there. It's very easy to use. It's in very good block form. It's got a nice search bar up at the top, and there are one or two little scooty whacks that have, little glitches when you transfer something over, and we'll get those cleaned up over the course of the next couple days. But there you are, live and in color in a brand new format. Everybody will really enjoy that. drcarolyndeanlive.com. It's very easy to share, and you can also put your email in, subscribe. So be sure to, let your friends know that this is an incredible resource, and share this link on your social media channels. We would definitely appreciate this.
Wow, look, you've got all the webinars lined up too. Oh, good grief. Good grief. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I was going to say the Instagram log, I don't know how to reach Instagram. Do they just type in Rna Reset in the Instagram search?
Yep, that's exactly what they do. They type in Rna Reset in the Instagram search, and it'll come popping right up. They'll see our page, Rna Reset, Pico Minerals, and they'll see the great work that Kate has done. And when you go to that page, you'll see all the minerals, vitamin C, all the different products, different pictures, and all the different posts and that kind of thing. Yep.
Very good. Okay, we better get back to work, Jenny. We're just chatting here.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay, so this evening, if you want to talk with Dr. Dean, again, call in to the show. And if you're on the line and you'd like to talk to her and you haven't yet raised your hand, be sure to hit *9 on your keypad. Will raise your hand and let us know you have a question or comment. Otherwise, your phone will remain on mute and you won't have any access to Dr. Dean because we won't hear you speaking. So again, you've got to hit *9, and I don't have anybody with a raised hand right now. So that means that if you're there and you think you hit *9, you really haven't hit it yet. If you're wanting to call in, 646-558-8656 is the number. And of course, you can chat with us live on YouTube on our YouTube channel. And then also, you can also chat with us through Dream Vision 7, their chat line as well. So lots of ways to connect. All right, Carolyn, let's press on with our important schedule. What would you like to talk about now?
Mailbag.
Okay.
Okay, so during the last week's Rheumatoid and thyroid week that we did, we had a question from a doctor. I'll just give the first name, Pat. And it's around the topic. She said, I've been told that rheumatoid was developed for the thyroid. So I answered, I developed it to be a multiple mineral so that people could have stabilized ions of all the trace minerals. It wasn't until after I lined them up that I realized that 9 of the 12 minerals support thyroid hormone production. Our messaging does emphasize the thyroid, but the formula does so much more. I speak about it in my rheumatoid book, which is a free download at drcarolyndeanlive.com. Pat goes on, she says, as an adjunct to this idea, how much iodine alone is needed to activate the thyroid? She said, I've read that 5 milligrams of iodine plus 7.5 milligrams of potassium iodide is the minimum requirement of the thyroid to operate properly. I would sincerely appreciate receiving a response. And I said, the amount that's in a daily dose of 1.5 teaspoons of rheumatoid is all you need. And that's the RDA of iodine. Any more than that will overstimulate the thyroid hormone cascade and cause receptor jamming and overload of iodine. High iodine therapy was begun for breast cancer and unfortunately has passed into the public as some sort of panacea. It's not good for everyone, and it's everyone that I want to reach with low dose, fully absorbed minerals. So we still have this situation with high dose iodine being promoted and people not realizing that if you force iodine, then you create a cascade, the next chemical after you add iodine to the mix of making thyroid hormones. You make too much of that, and the next minerals that are required in the cascade, they're not enough to cope with that high amount of the chemical created by the high dose iodine. So it just starts to jam up the works. For some people, I mean, it can be helpful. It's obviously helpful for people, as they say, for breast cancer, but I don't even know if that's been studied properly. So that's that. And then we go to testimonials, short one. This person, Ruby, says, Remag helped me walk again. I have kidney problems and was told to stay away from magnesium. When my calves froze up, I used Remag to rub generously on them, and right away they got very soft and felt wonderful and strong again. I've been able to walk without pain for the first time in a long time. Isn't that incredible? Next one. I'd like to share my story. Without her and her team's work, I don't know where I would be. Now, this might be a long one. Jenny, do you have a call, or will I just go ahead with this testimonial?
You can go ahead with the testimonial, Carolyn. We're good.
My troubles began following the birth of our last child in 2006. I had numbness, tingling, a burning sensation, and fatigue. At that time, I was told it was not MS, but they had no idea what was wrong with me. I continued to decline from there. Finally, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis July 2013 at the Mayo Clinic. So she's going from 2006 to 2013 with these symptoms. The neurologist was one of the leading neurologists in the country. My sisters took me to the Mayo because I'd gone numb from my waist down. That awful day, they diagnosed me with MS. My sister cried, but I was a bit more defiant. There was a reason my body was acting the way it was. Their only suggestion was to give me interferon. I would not go down that path. I continued to decline, however. I saw a naturopathic doctor. Magnesium blood test was very low. She suggested 600 milligrams a day. I tried to take that amount, but I could never take more than 200 milligrams a day, or I would feel worse. In 2016, I became very sick. So that's 3 more years. I saw my family doctor, nurse practitioners, internal medicine doctors. No one was able to help. By chance, some nurse practitioner ran a test on her thyroid. It was low. I was scared of the medication she prescribed. During this time, I bought Dr. Dean's book, and I knew magnesium should help, but for whatever reason, I was getting worse. After my thyroid test came back, I started looking into the thyroid. Adrenal problems and thyroid kept coming up together. I'd never heard of adrenal fatigue, but I believe this was what was wrong with me. Ran tests with the naturopathic doctor, and that came up. Kept reading Dr. Dean's books, and things began to change very slowly. I was left with no other choice but to follow this path because I had to do something. In my heart and in my mind, the one thing that drove me was the thought of being separated from my best friend, my husband, and my family. Lost my hearing in one ear, besides the numbness and tingling and burning, constant running to the bathroom, unimaginable fatigue. Nothing was working right. About that time, I was able to contact Dr. Dean through her team, and the dear lady, that's me, was able to make some suggestions. The biggest suggestion was the water and sodium intake amounts. I also started taking Remite. Remite is fabulous. These things made all the difference. So then she said, at one point I was not doing well again, and I reached out to Dr. Dean's team. They said vitamin D, magnesium, calcium, and K2 all have to be balanced. And then she says, at one point, my naturopath gave me 5,000 units of vitamin D, and it worked for a while. And then she realized she wasn't taking enough magnesium. I mean, it's a long story, but in conclusion, she said, thank you for all your work. I'm so grateful that there are people who know how to really treat the human body. I was never supposed to be better, and it was unthinkable I could be cured. Every day I'm a little bit better. I now have a future, which amazes me. And lots of thanks. Yes, it's amazing what people struggle with, and doctors tried to fit her in the multiple sclerosis box without looking at her, even at her thyroid. The Remite really helped because her thyroid must have been so low. Short one here. I have Lyme disease and lead poisoning. Nothing has helped my digestion until I tried the Remag. I noticed a difference in about 2 weeks. I responded so well. I'm trying your other products. That's from Marcy. And a lot of nice testimonials that Kate sends me from Instagram. If only all doctors were like you, if only all producers of supplements were like you, the majority of us would be wise and free of serious illness. Thank you for your integrity. That's sweet. Thank you, Dr. Dean, for helping us stay informed and empowered. I love your products and you, with lots of hearts attached. I truly believe using Remag and Remite has brought my out of control blood sugars way down. I'm so thankful for all your products, Dr. Dean. Thank you for caring so much about mankind. And next, we appreciate everything you've done, Dr. Carolyn. These doctors are literally telling patients to avoid sources of magnesium, so their whack pharma keeps the body further out of homeostasis, guaranteeing lifelong customer patient. I am forever grateful for your hard work, but life-changing work. I have long been a subscriber, user, and proud proponent of your Miracle Remag. Next one. I'm a newbie and loving the Remag and Pico Potassium. And the next one. Remag has helped me with sleep, anxiety, leg cramps, muscle twitching, nerve pain. Blood tests revealed I was on the borderline, I guess, with magnesium. My doctor did not catch this because I was in the low but normal range. I read Magnesium Miracle and took a second look at my results and was shocked. So thankful I found this. And the next person, Remag helps me sleep, no cramps, no palpitations. And next one, Remag helps me with my bladder condition. I used to get up 6 to 8 times in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I only get up once or twice and not as frequently during the day either. That's a miracle for me. Next one, Remag helped my sleep and my anxiety so much calmer. Love my Remag. Another one, because of Remag, I have no cramps or cravings for sweets and junk food. Another one, because of Remag, I have no more asthma, high blood pressure, and bye-bye AFib. So much vitality and just exciting, great health at 68. I love the formulas, and they all work together to improve the structure and function of every cell. Wow, look at all these. Remag helps me being regular, sleeping better, and less inflammation in my fingers. Remag helps my mood. Remag makes water taste delicious. Magnesium in pill form gave me early morning leg cramps. This doesn't. And you are awesome, Dr. Dean. You give your knowledge so freely. Thank you so much. And the last one, I love my Remag. I don't go a day without it. My mood has stabilized. I sleep great, and I don't get the afternoon crash that I used to. Can't live without it. Phew. So I'll stop there, Jenny, and see if you've got any phone calls or chats or anything, or where we go from here.
Okay, very good. Again, if you're here on the line, got to hit *9 to let me know you
Jenny's on mute and multitasking.
Oh, no, I'm here. Can you hear me?
But she's coming to us any second now.
I can hear her, Carolyn. You got something wrong.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't hear you, Jenny.
You don't hear me?
I don't hear you, Jenny.
Oh, dear. Oh,
Where am I, Jenny?
Okay, you're right
Will
there.
I come back in?
No.
Is Jenny saying anything to you for me, Bob?
Is she what?
Is she telling you what I should do?
No, she just wants to talk to you.
Okay.
I don't know.
Can you hear me, Carolyn, now?
I'll come back in.
No.
Don't come back in.
No. I can hear you just fine. Here you go. You've got a caller. Area code 847. Go ahead,
I can't
please.
hear you, Jenny. So what's going on with my...
Hi, this is Beverly.
Hey, Beverly.
Okay. I'm back.
I am trying to send to you, Carolyn, the list of all the complement formulas I'm taking and the amounts. And I wanted you to suggest if I need to rebalance them better or something. And I'm trying to send them to you, and I can't. It keeps getting rejected. Let's see. I'm sending it to questions at drcarolyndeanlive.com, but it keeps getting rejected. What am I doing wrong here to get this information to you?
Jenny, that's supposed to work. Could she send them to support at rnareset.com?
Yes, I was going to say, why don't you try support at rnareset.com? And also it's Dr. Carolyn Dean Live, not doctor spelled out. Is that that might be part of it? But go ahead and send them to support.
I was using DR.
Okay.
Okay, so support at what again?
rnareset.com.
Okay. Okay, I will do that. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Beverly, sorry that there was a hitch there. I know you wanted to do that a couple weeks ago, but we'll get right to it when you send in your questions, okay?
Okay, I'll send it right away. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Okay, did we get our audio challenges worked out, Carolyn?
Yes, all of a sudden I'm fine.
All right, perfection. All right, again, *9 on the keypad if you have a question or comment for Dr. Dean. Otherwise, we will press on with our important agenda. Now, let's see. I'm looking on YouTube and I'm not seeing anything. Elma in Kuwait is saying, hello, Dr. Dean, I love you. So that's very great. Also, we have a message from our most precious Sarah, who we love, Sarah C. In North Carolina. What she says is, I take all my supplements including the D3K2 first thing in the morning. I don't usually eat breakfast and I fast until 1 p.m. Should I be taking vitamin D with fat?
Some people are saying that vitamin D should be taken with a meal, especially with a fatty meal. I have hopes that when we have our omega-3, that's going to help the absorption of the vitamin D, because I don't want to start giving people all kinds of, oh, you can't do this with that or that with that. I'm taking an omega-3 right now myself, and I feel comfortable taking that on as I do the same as you do, Sarah. I take a number of supplements in the morning, and then I don't eat until noon or 2 o'clock. So what we'll find out is when I redo my blood tests, if my vitamin D and my omega-3 levels are elevated. Okay, so yes, backtracking there. I know my vitamin D on an empty stomach in the morning is being absorbed, because after however many months, my levels went from 19 to 53. So I am absorbing my D. And maybe absorption of D has mostly to do with your magnesium. So does that, in a roundabout way, answer Sarah's question, Ginny?
Well, it sounds like you don't think that it's imperative that D is taken with the fat.
Correct.
Okay. And the more important absorption factor is magnesium.
Correct.
Okay. So it seems like, and since you were taking it without a fat this whole time and your levels improved, then you feel that our formula that we've created with also the RNA catalyst in it is probably more than likely to be well absorbed and accelerating what they call the saturation dose.
Correct. Because during that time of just the 10,000 D, I was not taking an omega-3.
Ah, very good.
Right.
Very good. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. Very good. So thank you very much. It's a great question, Sarah. Great question. Thank you for asking. Okay, so we've got everybody caught up, I think, on our chat line. All questions have been asked and answered, and now we're looking over on our phone calls. We don't have any blue waving hands, so we must press on with our other important topics. Now, Carolyn, I think it's important to point out, since we did talk a little bit before about our new website, or the improved website at drcarolyndeanlive.com, that we should maybe just tell everybody a little bit about the books that you have written there and what incredible reference materials people have at their fingertips.
I know, it is quite amazing. We just get so many questions that it has made it easier. Well, first of all, to educate the customer service people in in the way I think and the way I look at the different health conditions and the different formulas, and how to either pass that knowledge on to customers, or just tell them to read the books and then come back with questions. So it has been, the way to educate our customers, to make you responsible for understanding the information. We don't want to just say, okay, take this and, pat you on the head and off you go. The more a person understands things in their left brain and is able to sort of use their intuition about how they're feeling and everything, it just works so well for that individual. And look where we've gotten ourselves, just listening to our doctors and doing what they say when they don't have all the information that you want. So right now I'm at drcarolyndeanlive.com. I've clicked on the link that says books, and it's beautifully laid out. Oh my gosh. And it's when you run your cursor over, the whole thing lights up and you click on it. The first one is I guess it's the latest book, The Total Body Reset for Women. You click on, and it has the book itself that you can download. The button download is right there. There's a description of it. And you've even got an audiobook premiere. What's that, Ginny? Look at Ginny. She's so cute.
Well, we did the audiobook premiere because we had the most amazing show with our radio panel. Remember that?
Oh, with the women's panel. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. That's good. So you're matching up books and radio shows. There's Total Body Immunity is the next one. And this is very important. I mean, this is where I go into the formulas that are necessary for the immune system. And I'm saying as well, they support anti-aging as well. We don't believe in time or aging. So the book itself, it's called Total Body Immunity, and the subtitle is REMAG, D3K2 Reset, Whole C Reset, Flora Revive, Pico Silver, and Pico Zinc. Now, the REMAG, of course, that's our standby. It's always been around. Flora Revive, we work with that, and Pico Silver for the yeast overgrowth. But together, they really support the immune system. Very good. And there's a nice description of it. So here are our books. They're all free download. I mean, there's no charge here, folks. And they are, I mean, obviously they're talking about our products. So it's like we are, quote, advertising our products. But as I've said to people before, nobody else is going to make these products for you. And so you'll have to accept the fact that I've made the products and I'm describing them, and you can take them and benefit from them. The Pico Potassium, I mean, that was a huge breakthrough when I realized I could create a potassium with a quarter teaspoon be the dosage that the FDA requires to be a low dosage for potassium, because many, many years ago, people had a problem with a certain type of time release potassium. And ever since then, they've said potassium is bad. And they've kept millions of people from getting the right amounts of potassium to help balance their magnesium and their heart and their electrolytes. So Pico Potassium, subtitle, Magnesium's Best Friend. It is a very important book. Flora Revive, well, we're coming out with as well a Flora Revive Light. I'll have to update this book, Ginny. Flora Revive has an antifungal as well as the prebiotics and probiotics that the body requires. I'm doing a lot of reading on probiotics, gut health, the whole gut microbiome. People have totally focused on the gut microbiome, and the brain are firmly entrenched in each other's camps, and it's all about brain and gut health. The gut is the second brain, and on and on and on. I mean, waxing poetic about something they don't even know anything about. And what's happened in the whole gut microbiome is, on one hand, they'll say, yeah, there are 30 or 40 trillion bacteria in the gut. There's 1,000 different species, and we're all messed up because we've thrown them out of balance. But what do? They tell you to take Lactobacillus acidophilus and bifidobacteria, and they act like those are going to replace the 1,000 different species. And this is where they just fall on their sword. They do not have a clue. And the reason why they focus on lactobacillus and bifidobacteria is because that's what falls out of the gut when you have a bowel movement. They just studied stool samples for years. And after many years, they decided, well, let's do scopes down the throat or up the anus to find out what else is in there. And that's when they start discovering soil-based probiotics. But even then, when we were recommending Prescript Assist, I think there was like 10 or 12 soil-based probiotics in that formula. Still not close to the 1,000 probiotics that the gut needs. Now, where does the gut get its bacteria? From the soil, from the plants we eat. Leave some of that dirt on, for Pete's sakes. So what I did, when I was trying to create the Flora Revive for 2 years before it finally came out, and using the Prescript Assist as a recommendation up till then. But with the Flora Revive, we have humic fulvic dirt that has probiotics. We don't list them. I mean, hopefully we're getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds to reinforce our intestinal bacteria. And also I tell people to eat fermented foods, etc., to get as many different bacteria as you can in the intestines. But what I've done that's different than the probiotic pushers and the bacteria balancers is I focus as well on yeast overgrowth. And I've done that for decades and decades. And somehow alternative medicine, just like allopathic medicine did, they sort of push yeast aside, and it's just too difficult to deal with, so they don't deal with it. And what I was able to do with Flora Revive is add Saccharomyces boulardii as a very gentle antifungal that a person can take to help balance out the yeast that's overgrown from our diet and antibiotics and the birth control pill, and keep it down to a dull roar, because we do need some yeast. But what we're going to do in the next month or two is put out Flora Revive Lite, Lite, and that takes out the Saccharomyces boulardii, puts in some extra humic fulvic probiotics and some extra RNA powder as a catalyst. And that will be for people who want to maybe alternate between a bit of an antifungal and no antifungal. So that's going to be a wonderful balancer for people. I don't think at this point, I'll turn to Ginny now and ask her, have people said that they don't want to take a antifungal long term? Are people concerned about that yet, Ginny?
Not really. I think people are enjoying the benefits of Flora Revive, and I'm not sure when you hit that threshold of not requiring that anymore. But my gosh, that stuff sure flies off the shelves there, Carolyn. So I don't know. People seem to be very happy so far.
Right, right, because the intestinal imbalance, I think, hinges on the fact that there's too much yeast in our intestines, and I don't see a lot of people really. I shouldn't say it that way. There are a lot of antifungal, anti-yeast, get rid of yeast people. I'm more of let's keep yeast in balance, and let's not be so strict on our diet that we feel deprived all the time. I'm still eating my berry dessert just about every day, and I take the Flora Revive. What I'm going to do when the Flora Revive light comes is alternate. Every other day, I'll take 2 Flora Revive, and then on the other days, I'll take Flora Revive Light, and just see how my body responds to that. But as I was saying earlier to one of our callers, I think it was Pamela, I think we really need to promote the fiber use. When I update the Flora Revive book, I'll make sure to talk about if your food for the day is not going to have fiber, you really should take psyllium seed powder to help the probiotics in the gut, because they absolutely require fiber in order to, I think it's partly to do with their own digestion, but also gives them something to hang on to. They grab onto the fiber and kind of reproduce on the fiber. But the rant that I was doing about the microbiome and people just focusing on the bacterial imbalance and their solution. I mean, they talk about fecal implants as being the solution to the imbalance. But when you read into fecal implants and hear about the fatalities that have occurred when you implant somebody's, supposedly sterilized feces into another person, it could have high amounts of a certain bacteria that person didn't want to have in their body. So they've gone to the extreme where they're not even talking about giving people the soil-based probiotics that they require, or eating fermented foods and all the rest of it, without going to this extreme. And that's the way it is in medicine, even allopathic medicine. They go right to, well, let's treat with lacto and bifidobacteria. And I've had patients when I used to do telephone consulting who were, when their intestines didn't budge with, a certain number of these probiotics, they just went higher and higher and higher doses until they threw a person's intestinal flora right out of whack. So I'm going to stop here and see if you got any calls or anything. Gosh, I've talked myself up to the top of the hour, Ginny.
No, I think we're doing good with our phone calls. We don't have anybody pressing the blue button right now. But I'm glad you went through some of those books, Carolyn, because people really need to understand that those books that are there is an incredible resource. They are a form of public education. It is a true educational journey to hang out with Dr. Dean. She is not just going to tell you to put something in your body without explaining to you why. She's going to give you the background. She's going to tell you how your body works. She's going to tell you what the other implications of it are. And she's going to make sure that you're making an empowered decision. And she is the #1 person who will always say, if something doesn't feel good when you're taking it, or if it doesn't seem like it's working, you really should stop. And we know over the years of doing this, there's so many people are taking dietary supplements that just have no effect. They're not alive. They're not well formulated. They don't have this passion and power behind them. They're poorly designed. They're not biologically appropriate. Their ratios are off. They exceed the RDA. I mean, I could just go down the list. It's incredible. So, Dr. Dean's stuff is so wise. It's so well constructed, and all of the thought forms and the impetus behind them are all in these books. So please take advantage of drcarolyndeanlive.com/books and look at the work that she's put together for you, and look at what you can do for yourself. And if you're not using all the different products, maybe target an area that you'd like to grow. We have RNA Reset for athletes. We have heart health. We have thyroid. Even if you want to reset your ideal weight and try the keto diet, all these things are here for you. Also, Carolyn, I wanted to remind you that on the fiber restructure is also has 5 grams of fiber in it. So everybody remember that if you're using the restructure, and you can also add psyllium seed to the restructure shake, right, Carolyn?
Right. You can. Now you have to play with it a bit because it can gel up. But yes, 5 grams, that's like a heaping teaspoon. And that's all I use with psyllium. So I'm actually getting 10 grams of fiber a day because I do my psyllium and I do a big scoop of restructure. I put my restructure in with my berries. So it's very awesome.
Yeah. And the RDA for fiber is 20 grams of fiber a day. So you'll want to use your restructure that. And of course, I know Carolyn's always eating tons of fruit and vegetables and things like that, but I'm just letting the audience know.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Sharice on YouTube is saying, being a type 1 diabetic, I've always had problems with yeast. I added Flora Revive. I've been approved for a continuous glucose monitor, so I'm excited for the changes to come and always improving my health. And I think, Sharice, also don't forget about the Remag, and Carolyn's got 2 minutes to tell us why the type 1 diabetic needs to have Remag.
Right. We didn't get to that book, but there is a book about diabetes on the list. Let me see what it's called. Yeah, Total Body Reset for Type 2 Diabetes. And I talk a little bit, not much, about Type 1 diabetes, but both forms have it would be a sign, have the sign of low magnesium in the blood as a sign of diabetes. So magnesium is very important. What happens in diabetes, you urinate a lot to get rid of the extra sugar. And anytime you're urinating a lot, you're getting rid of magnesium. You're lowering your magnesium levels. And what's unfortunate about diabetes and the way it can attack the kidneys, the heart, and the eyes, the sugars deposit in those areas and kind of crystallize and do damage. So it's very important in diabetes to not eat sugar. That's the treatment, to not eat sugar. And of course, our customer, she's with the type 1, probably on insulin and is aware of all those things. But what the magnesium will do is help support the pancreas, help support even getting her insulin injections into her cells properly and helping to utilize it. Remag does about a dozen things to help balance blood sugar and prepare the cells to receive sugar properly. So those are some words right up to the top of the hour. Ginny.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sharice. Thank you, everybody, for listening. So happy you're here. Be well, be safe, take care of yourselves. Be back next week with more goodness from our very own Dr. Carolyn Dean and Bob and Rachel, our producer, Deborah, everybody coming together in this effort. Thank you again, Derek, for the great new website. We'll see you guys next week.
Right. Great website, Derek. It's beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jenny, listeners. Take care. Take
You've been listening to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show. For questions about today's broadcast, email Dr. Dean at questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com. That's questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.